All right. I am here with Dan Farrell of Ruoff Mortgage. And today we are going to answer the question, when is my first payment due? Hi, Dan.
Hey Jen, how you doing?
Good. I'm glad you could come on because this is like a question as realtors we get asked all the time. So can you tell us like how that works?
Yeah, because it's a big deal because it's a hang up in people's mind of the
Right.
logistics of going from their apartment to a new house or from their current house to the new
Right.
house. So basically, in general, just to understand, a mortgage is paid in the arrears and then paid and generally on the first of the month. So after you've owned your house for at least a full 30 days, it would be due on the first. So that what does this all mean? Let's give some real examples. So
Okay.
basically, if a lot of times closings do happen at the end of the month, so then you would have that next month, the following month, no payment. And then so if we close, let's say we closed at the end of March, you're not going to have any payment due until May 1st.
So let's say you close March 1st. When is your payment due?
You're stealing my thunder now. So anyways, yeah, so that's the thing, is that if you close at the beginning of the month, well, guess what? It's still due May 1st. So the beginning of March, you have to pay. The only difference is in your loan, on your settlement statement, there's interim interest that has to be paid to the end of from when you close to the end of the month.
Okay.
And then the deferment period kicks in, that first month deferment, because they have to have the reason why it's like that, why it's in the arrears and everything, is they have to get everything set up with servicing. So they have to have
Got
that
it.
time.
Okay.
But it's a lot of clients, and I'd say majority of clients actually think like their payment's going to be due within like right then at closing or within a few days. They're going to get a bill in the mail and it's just going to start. And
It doesn't.
so what we can do with these dates, because also there's technically a grace period, so that yes, it's due at the first of the month, but you can make it any time in that month. You don't want to go past the 15th of that month because then you have to pay a late fee, typically 5% of the payment.
Okay.
But you can some people just set up auto pay. It's better to pay it on the 8th of the month. So
Right.
they set that up, and so that you can basically arrange on the contract. You, the agent, can negotiate on the contract to close. Let's say this works out. Like for this, a real live example right now. We're middle of February. We can close loans here in a couple of weeks. So if it helps you win the contract or helps the buyer win the contract, we could conceivably close the very beginning of March.
Okay.
And then in that case, they wouldn't have to make a payment until May 1st. So basically,
Which is awesome. So if you are moving is expensive, right? So like if you have this other house that you're selling and you're buying another house and you're taking on two mortgages, you're really not most of the time, because there is so long in between when you buy the house. There is such a long period before you actually have to make your first payment, because all the
right.
prorations and stuff are collected at closing as part of your closing costs, right?
Exactly. So this just creates a lot of panic with people, and sometimes they're just like, oh, and
It's
they
a lot
don't
of
realize
money.
it's a lot of money. But when you kind of break it down and they can see it, or even with selling a house, it's big because then they know they're not going to be, obviously the house is going to sell most likely pretty quick. So
Right.
now they know that they're not going to be hit with or stuck with a double payment.
Yeah.
And so with the way that works out.
That makes
So yeah.
sense. Well,
Yeah.
as we know, everybody's situation is really unique. And if somebody is, where do you do business? Where does Ruoff do business?
Ruoff does business everywhere except Hawaii.
Easy. Okay. And if
Easy. Yep.
people want to talk to you about their specific situation, or they are thinking of buying a house, want to get pre-approved or buy maybe a second property,
Yep.
how do they get a hold of you?
They can give me a call at 513-400-4449. My app is super simple. It's 513preapproval.com.
Awesome. Thanks for being on, Dan.
Thanks, Jen.